So guys, today we are gonna learn chapter number 2 from the book Flamingo, and the topic of the day is Lost Spring, and its subtitle is Stories of Stolen Childhood. You must have noticed that some boys or some people don't enjoy their childhood. They have to roam here and there in search of food and in search of livelihood. They don't have their homes, and they are not able to enjoy a lavish life like us. We are very lucky that we have our home, we are studying in a school, we have no lack of food, we have no lack of money. But there are some people or some children who are lacking all these things. They don't have their own home, they don't have food to eat in time, they don't have money to buy whatever they want, and that's why they are not able to enjoy a life like us. Okay, so this chapter is about all those kinds of children. And let me tell you one more important thing, that this chapter is divided into two parts. The very first part starts from here. Sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. Okay, so sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. This story is about a boy whose name is Sahibe Alam. He does not have his home, he does not have money to buy whatever he wants, and that's why he is forced or he is helpless to do rag picking or picking some things from the garbage. आपने देखा होगा अक्सर जो कूड़े करकट में बच्चे एक प्लास्टिक का थैला लेकर कुछ ना कुछ ढूंढते फिरते हैं, कोई लोहे की चीज़ मिल गई, इफ़ दे फाइंड एनी मेटल, इफ़ दे फाइंड एनी plastic bottles or glasses, what do they do? They collect all those kinds of materials and sell them to a junk dealer, and in this way they earn money, and then in the evening they buy food for themselves. So this chapter, the very first part of this chapter, is about such a boy who is helpless to find something in the garbage. We can simply say who is helpless for rag picking. Rag picking उसी चीज़ को कहते हैं, कूड़े करकट में जो मटेरियल होता है उसको तलाश करके किसी जंक डीलर को बेचकर पैसा कमाना. So the writer of this chapter asked him, why do you do this? And this chapter starts with this question itself. Good morning and walaikum assalam to all the students who are studying right now. Okay, I have seen your chats in this side. So why do you do this? The writer asked this question. I ask Sahib, whom I encounter every morning scrounging for gold in the garbage dumps of my neighborhood. So in the neighborhood of the writer, she used to observe that some children come there, they do rag picking in the garbage dumps of her neighborhood, and that garbage was gold for them. Okay, why is it gold for them? Because gold makes a person rich, and by dealing with gold he can earn whatever he wants. In the same way they deal with garbage, and selling this garbage to the junk dealers they earn money and buy food for themselves. So Sahib left his home long ago. Why is he helpless for doing rag picking? Because he has no home. He has left his home long ago. Set amidst the green fields of Dhaka, his home is not even a distant memory. In the beginning, or a long time ago, he used to live in Dhaka. There were many storms that swept away their fields and homes. So many storms came there and they swept their fields and homes. उन तूफानों ने उनके घर को, उनके खेत खलियानों को बर्बाद कर दिया. As his mother tells him, और ये बात जो है उसे अपनी माँ के ज़रिए पता चली है, दैट्स वाई दे लेफ्ट, इसीलिए वो उस जगह को छोड़कर यहाँ आ गए हैं। कहाँ आ गए हैं अभी आगे जाकर हमें पता चल जाएगा। लुकिंग फॉर गोल्ड इन द बिग सिटी वेयर ही नाउ लिव्स एंड हियर ही लुक्स फॉर गोल्ड बट रिमेंबर दिस गोल्ड इज गार्बेज। यहाँ पर गोल्ड, आप गोल्ड ही मत समझ लीजिएगा, गार्बेज को गोल्ड कहा गया है क्योंकि उन लोगों के लिए गार्बेज ही गोल्ड के तरह है। आई हैव नथिंग टू डू, नथिंग एल्स टू डू, सो द आंसर ऑफ दिस क्वेश्चन वाई डू यू डू दिस is this I have nothing else to do. When the writer asked this question to Sahib, he gave this answer. I have nothing else to do. मेरे पास और कुछ है ही नहीं करने के लिए, तो मैं क्या करूँ, मजबूर हूँ. He mutters, looking away. Good school, I say glibly, realizing immediately how hollow the advice must sound. So when Sahib said that I have nothing else to do, the writer advised him to go to school, but she knew very well that this advice is useless and it will not be possible for him to go to school even if he wants. Why is it not possible? Because he does not have his home, he does not have money to have 3 times meal per day. So how will he manage to pay the fee of स्कूल? और वैसे भी आजकल स्कूल आप जानते ही हैं कि फ़ीस कितनी ज़्यादा महंगी हो चुकी है स्कूलों की, और स्कूल में एडमिशन लेना आजकल कितना मुश्किल हो चुका है. देयर इज़ नो स्कूल इन माई नेबरहुड, बट इट वॉज नॉट हिज प्रॉब्लम. लैक ऑफ मनी was not his main problem. The biggest problem why he does not go to school is there is no school in his neighborhood. When they build one, I will go. And he assures the writer that if any school is made or built in the village, he will definitely go to school to study. Okay? So this page is over. Now let's move to the next page. If I start a school, will you come? The writer asks him a question. If I start a school, will you come? She gives an offer to Sahib to come to school if she makes. I ask, half joking, but remember, the writer has no intention to make a school or to build a school. He is just joking. Yes, he says, smiling broadly. But Sahib Alam could not understand that the writer is just joking. He became very happy at once, and he said, yes, I will definitely come. A few days later, I see him running up to me. Is your school ready? So Sahib Alam thought that the writer is really willing to build a school in the village, and that's why she is offering me, and he began to wait for the school anxiously. Okay? And after a few days, he went to the writer and asked her, have you built the school? Is your school ready? And then the writer replied, it takes longer to build a school. She said to him that building a school is not such an easy task, and it is not like I can build it in 1 or 2 days only. It is a very long process. I say, embarrassed at having made a promise that was not meant, but she was feeling very sorry for herself because she had given him a false hope. उसके दिल में एक झूठी उम्मीद जगा दी थी उसने ये कह के कि मैं स्कूल बनाऊंगी तुम्हारे लिए, ठीक है. और अब उसको बहुत ही ज़्यादा अफसोस हो रहा था कि यार मैंने इससे ऐसा क्यों कह दिया, क्योंकि वो जानती है कि वो अपना प्रॉमिस नहीं निभा पाएगी. But promises like mine abound in every corner of his bleak world. After months of knowing him, I asked him his name. After several months, the writer asked his name, and he gave reply, Sahibe Alam, he announces. Okay, he said, my name is Sahibe Alam. He does not know what it means. If he knew its meaning, Lord of the universe, he would have a hard time believing it. The writer says that the meaning of his name was Lord of the universe. But if I told her, he would hardly believe it, because Lord of the universe means king of the world, and he is not the king of his own home also. So how can he be the Lord of the universe? It is totally contrast. उसके नाम का मतलब कुछ और है और उसकी जो जिंदगी है वो उसकी बिल्कुल उलट है. ओके, नाम का तो वो राजा है, लेकिन उसके पास एक वक्त की रोटी खरीदने के पैसे तक नहीं, खाने के पैसे तक नहीं है. Unaware of what his name represents, he roams the streets with his friends, an army of barefoot boys who appear like the morning birds and disappear at noon. So the whole day he roams here and there with his friends, and all his friends are barefoot. They don't wear the slippers. Some of them don't have the slippers and some of them don't want to wear them. Over the months I have come to recognize each of them. Okay, so the writer lived there for several months, and that's why she was able to recognize each of them. Means now she has become familiar with them. And one day the writer asked them, why are you not wearing chappals? A Hindi word has been used here as it is. Okay, because she is an Indian writer, and Indian writers do this. They sometimes write the Hindi words as it is in English as well. Okay, so why are you not wearing chappals? I ask one. My mother did not bring them down from the shelf, he answers simply. So when the writer asked him, what is the reason behind you not to wear chappals, he simply replied that my mother did not give me. Even if she did, he will throw them off. And another one adds another who is wearing shoes that do not match. Okay, so the second boy says, even if she had given him chappals or slippers to wear, he must have thrown them away. अरे आंटी आप क्या जानो, अगर इसकी मम्मी इसको दे भी देंगी ना चप्पल तो ये फेंक देता है, बड़ा बेकार सा बच्चा है ये. एड्स अनदर वन हु इज़ वेयरिंग शूज़ दैट डू नॉट मैच. और जिस बच्चे ने ये बात कही वो शूज़ पहन रहा था, और शूज़ भी ऐसे जो मैच नहीं हो रहे थे. एक ब्लैक था तो एक वाइट, कुछ इस टाइप से. When I comment on it, he shuffles his feet and says nothing. Okay, I want shoes. तो उसने राइटर ने कमेंट कर दिया उसके शूज़ के ऊपर कि तुम्हारे दोनों जूते अलग अलग क्यों हैं. सो ही शफल्स हिज फीट, उसने पैरों को इस तरह से इधर उधर किया, but said nothing. I want shoes, says a third boy who has never owned a pair all his life. And the third boy said, I also want to wear shoes, but I have never got them my entire life. And traveling across the country, I have seen children walking barefoot in cities on village roads. Okay, it's not lack of money, but a tradition to stay barefoot is one explanation. I wonder if this is only an excuse to explain away a perpetual state of poverty. Actually, the reason behind the people or the children not wearing the shoes or slippers was that it was the tradition of the villages to stay barefoot. ठीक है, मतलब नंगे पैर रहने की उन्हें आदत सी पड़ गई है. अब अगर उन्हें कोई चप्पल दे भी देता है तो भाई हटाओ कौन पहन रहा है इन्हें, इस तरीके से वो कह के चप्पलों को दूर फेंक देते हैं और नंगे पैर ही इधर उधर घूमते फिरते हैं. ओके, and I remember a story a man from Udupi once told me. As a young boy, he would go to school past an old temple where his father was a priest. He would stop briefly at the temple and pray for a pair of shoes. 30 years later, I visited his town and the temple, which was now drowned in an air of. चलो इसका आगे बाद में कंटिन्यू करेंगे, कहाँ चले गए. So the writer remembers a story of a man from Udupi. Okay, as a young boy, he would go to school past an old temple. A man, when he was a boy, he used to go to school behind an old temple. Okay, and where his father was a priest. The priest of that temple was his own father. उसी बच्चे के जो पापा थे उस मंदिर के अंदर, जिस मंदिर के पीछे वो स्कूल जाया करता था, उसी मंदिर के वो पंडित थे. He would stoply brief at the temple and pray for a pair of shoes. So can you imagine that the boy used to pray staying there for the shoes. वहाँ पर रुककर वो बच्चा जूतों की दुआएं मांगता था कि ऐ मेरे मालिक मुझे ज़रा एक जोड़ी जूतों का इंतज़ाम कर दे. And 30 years later, I visited his town and the temple, which was now drowned. So the time passed on, and after 30 years, the writer again visited the same town and the temple, but now the temple was not erected there, it had been drowned down. Okay? अब वो टेम्पल वहाँ मौजूद नहीं था, उसको गिरा दिया गया था वहाँ से. एंड इन द बैकयार्ड वेयर लिव द न्यू प्रीस्ट. ओके, और उसके पीछे जहाँ पर पहले दूसरे वो रहा करते थे पंडित, अब वो तो 30 साल के बाद वहाँ नहीं रहते थे, उनकी जगह कोई दूसरे पंडित आ गए थे. There were red and white plastic chairs, so white and red plastic chairs were put there, and a young boy dressed in a grey uniform wearing socks and shoes arrived panting and threw his school bag on a folding bed. So now the writer is telling us that after 30 years the entire scene of that place was completely changed. Now a new priest lived behind that temple. Okay, and he also has a son who is quite young. He goes to school and wears grey uniform, and most surprisingly he also wears socks and shoes. So after 30 years this change came into that place, that the people became aware and lost all his old traditions and started wearing socks and shoes also. Okay, so looking at the boy, I remembered the prayer another boy had made to the goddess when he had finally got a pair of shoes, let me never lose them. Okay, so उस लड़के को देखकर राइटर को उस बच्चे की याद आ गई जो 30 साल पहले वहाँ पर दुआएं मांगा करता था कि मेरे मालिक, जब मुझे अगर एक बार आप चप्पल या जूते दे दो तो प्लीज़ मुझे उनसे कभी छीनना मत. ठीक है, तो उसको वो दुआ याद आ गई उस बच्चे की. यंग बॉयज लाइक द सन ऑफ द प्रीज नाउ वोर शूज, एंड दिस वॉज ऑल्सो अ वेरी बिग चेंज, that now young boys like the son of the priest now wore shoes. अब इतनी अवेयरनेस आ गई है, इतना मॉडर्न हो गया है वहाँ का ज़माना कि लोगों ने जूते वगैरह भी पहनने स्टार्ट कर दिए हैं. पहले क्या था, नंगे पैर घूमे फिरते थे, अगर किसी के पास हुआ भी करते थे चप्पल या जूते तो वो लोग उनको पहनते ही नहीं थे, साइड में डाल दिया करते थे. बट नाउ दे वेयर. But many others like the rag pickers in my neighborhood remain shoeless. Okay, but still there are some children like rag pickers in the neighborhood of the writer who remain shoeless. अभी भी कुछ लोग हैं जो shoeless ही रहते हैं. And my acquaintance with the barefoot rag pickers leads me to Simapuri, a place on the periphery of Delhi at miles away from it. Metamorphically, those who live here are squatters who came from Bangladesh back in 1971, and Sahib Alam's family is also among them. And Simapuri was then a wilderness, and it still is, but it is no longer empty. Listen. So right now the poet is talking about Simapuri where Sahib Alam lives. Okay, and he says that there are a lot of rag pickers who still live shoeless, and all the people who are living at Simapuri have come there to take refuge from Bangladesh back in 1971. Okay, and Sahab's family is also one of those people who came there for refuge. refuge कहते हैं शरण लेना, यानी जब सपोज कर लीजिए किसी देश के अंदर अगर कोई डिज़ास्टर आ गया है और उनका घर बार सब बर्बाद हो गया है तो वो लोग अपनी जान बचाकर भागते हैं, और उसके बाद उनको जहाँ भी आसरा मिल जाता है, जहाँ भी सहारा मिल जाता है, वो उसी जगह को अपना घर बना लेते हैं, तो वो उनके लिए रिफ्यूज बन जाती है. ठीक है, तो 1971 में when the storms came and destroyed the fields and homes of the people, the people came to Simapuri to take refuge. Okay, and it's the case of 1971. And Simapuri was then a wilderness. There was no one living there when the people came there, but now slowly and gradually there are a lot of people living in Simapuri. In structures of mud with roofs of tin and tarpaulin, devoid of sewage, drainage, or running water, live 10,000 rag pickers. It's surprisingly amazing because 10,000 people is a great number, and 10,000 people rag pickers live there in Simapuri. Okay, and their houses are made of mud with roofs of tin and tarpaulin. टिन जो टीन वगैरह होती है उससे उन्होंने उसकी छत बना रखी है अपने घरों की. एंड टेरापोलिन प्रोबेबली दैट स्ट्रॉ और ग्रास, सूखी हुई जो घास होती है शायद, उसको कहा गया है. डिवॉइड ऑफ सीवेज, देयर इज नो प्रॉपर सीवेज, ड्रेनेज और रनिंग वाटर. Okay, so they have a lot of problems, still they live there. They have lived here for more than 30 years without an identity. They were living there for 30 years, but they still did not get an identity like we are living in India, in Amroha. We have our own identity. We have our voter IDs, we have our Aadhaar card, and we have a particular identity. Yes, we are the citizen of this country. But even after spending 30 years in Simapuri, they did not get their identity. They were living their identity less. Without permits, they had no permits to live there. Still they were living, but with ration cards that get their names on voters list and enable them to buy grain. But still there was one very good thing: they had ration cards, and it helped them to enlist their name on voter lists. Food is more important for survival than an identity. If at the end of the day we can feed our families and go to bed without an aching stomach, we would rather live here than in the fields that gave us no grain. So one day, say a group of women in tattered sarees, when I ask them why they left their beautiful land of green fields and rivers. So one day the writer asked a question to a group of women that why have you left their own places like green fields and their own homes, and why are you living in this dirty place where the water is scattered here and there? You have no proper drainage, you are not able to do any kind of professional work here, so why are you living here and why have you left your that home? So the group of women replied that this place helps us to survive, and this place gives us some food. That's why we are living here, and our fields where we were living earlier were not able to feed us properly, क्योंकि तूफान वगैरह आ गया था ना, सब तहस नहस हो गया था उनका. Wherever they find food, they pitch their tents, and that becomes transit homes. And the group said that wherever they find food, they pitch there. They said that this place is not ours. The place where we get food from, that place is ours. जहाँ से भी हमें खाना मिलता है उसी जगह को हम अपना घर मान लेते हैं. Children grow up in them, becoming partners in survival, and survival in Simapuri means rag picking. So simply, if you want to survive in Simapuri, you will have to do rag picking, क्योंकि वहाँ पर कूड़े के ढेर सारे मतलब बहुत सारे ढेर लगे हुए हैं, और वहीं से कूड़ा करकट बीन कर इस तरीके से अपना सर्वाइवल किया जा सकता है. इसके अलावा कोई दूसरा रास्ता नहीं है. Through the years, it has acquired the proportions of a fine art. Garbage to them is gold. Again, the same thing has come. Garbage to them is gold. It is their daily bread, a roof over their heads, even if it is a leaking roof, but for a child, it is even more. So garbage is a gold to them, and it is their daily bread, a roof over their heads, even if it is a leaking roof. Okay, so only due to this garbage they get bread daily. खाने का इंतज़ाम हो पाता है उनका. And due to this garbage there is a roof over their heads, and even if it is leaking, हालांकि वो roof सारी लीकिंग होती हैं, टपकती रहती हैं, बट स्टिल ये ना से तो हाँ हो ही जाती है. I sometimes find a rupee, even a 10 rupee note, Sahib says, his eyes lighting up. When you can find a silver coin in a head of garbage, you don't stop scrounging, for there is a hope of finding more. It seems that for children, garbage has a meaning different from what it means to their parents. For the children, it is a wrapped in wonder. For the elders, it is a means of survival. So Sahib tells the writer that sometimes he finds only a rupee note and sometimes he only finds a 10 rupee note. Okay, and this rag picking is just not only a rag picking for them, and it has different meanings for the children and the parents. And for the children, it is a source of enjoy, it is a source of entertainment, and the children enjoy it very well. It's like a game for them, finding the money and metals and other materials from the garbage. And for the people, for the parents, it is a means of survival, means whatever materials they find, they sell it and then they earn money, and they buy their food, and sometimes they find rupees directly. एक का नोट मिल गया, 10 का नोट मिल गया, 100 का नोट मिल गया, इस तरीके से भी कभी कभी हो जाता है. गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीवन, जितने लोग भी लेट कमर्स हैं और गुड मॉर्निंग बोल रहे हैं, गुड मॉर्निंग टू ऑल ऑफ यू. फॉर द चिल्ड्रन, सॉरी, one winter morning I see Sahib standing by the fenced gate of the neighborhood club watching two young men dressed in a white playing tennis. So it was the winter season and the time was morning. Sahib was standing by the fenced gate of a neighborhood club. Okay, so there was a club in the neighborhood, and there were two young men who were wearing white dress and they were playing tennis. Sahib liked the tennis game very much. He hums, content to watch it standing behind the fence, so he stands there itself and keeps watching those people to play tennis. I go inside when no one is around. And he says that he also likes this game very much, and when all the people leave that place after playing, he also goes inside. He admits, the gatekeeper lets me use the swing, Sahib, and there are some swings also, झूले भी हैं वहाँ पर, and the gatekeeper does not restrict him outside. He allows him to go inside, and there he uses the swings. झूला झूलता है और आ जाता है. Sahib too is wearing tennis shoes that look strange over his discolored shirt and shorts. Someone gave them to me, he says in the manner of an explanation. The fact that they are discarded shoes of some rich boy who perhaps refused to wear them because of a hole in one of them does not bother him. For one who has walked barefoot, even shoes with a hole is a dream come true, but the game he is watching so intently is out of his reach. So what was the situation? Sahib was wearing clothes discolored. They were very old. His clothes were very old, tattered and colorless, but his shoes were shining, and he was also wearing the tennis shoes, and they were quite shining. They were looking quite new. So the writer asked him, your clothes are not so good, they are not shiny, they are old, they are tattered, but your shoes are shiny and they are looking awkward, they are looking a little strange. Why is it so? So Sahib Alam replied that a very rich boy gave them to me because he did not want to wear them, because there was only one problem with these shoes. They are quite new, but there is only one problem with these shoes. There is a hole in one of them, and I accepted these shoes quite happily because one single hole does not matter much to me. I like them with a hole as well. Okay, and when I got these shoes, I felt like my dream has come true. But still, he was not allowed to play tennis with the people, and it was just a dream for him. This morning, Sahib is on his way to milk booth. In his hand is a steel canister. I now work in a tea stall down the road. He says, pointing in the distance, I am paid 800 rupees and all my meals. Does he like the job? I ask. His face, I see, has lost the carefree look. The steel canister seems heavier than the plastic bag he would carry so lightly over his shoulder. The bag was his. The canister belongs to the man who owns the tea shop, and Sahib is no longer his own master. So that morning when the writer met him, he was going to a milk booth, and in his hand is a steel canister. एक टींड का डब्बा है उसके हाथ में. And now I work in a tea. So the Sahib Alam told the writer that now he is not free, but quit he has quit the work of rag picking. Now he does not do rag picking, and uh, he has become a person, means he now works in a tea stall down the road, and he earns 800 rupees per month, and at the same time he also gets meals. मतलब पैसे तो उसको मिलते ही हैं काम करने के, साथ ही साथ उसको खाना भी दिया जाता है. सो द राइटर आस्क्ड हिम, डू यू लाइक द जॉब? ही सेड nothing, but the expressions on his face were explaining everything. And the author observed these expressions and felt that the steel canister seems heavier than the plastic bag he would carry so lightly. In earlier times he would carry plastic bag on his shoulder. It was also very heavy, but it seemed to be very light to him. Now the steel canister but the steel canister seems heavier than the plastic bag. What is the reason? The reason is that he used to do rag picking with his own wish, and he was the master of himself. Wherever he wants, he can go. Whatever he wants, he can do. Okay, but now he has been a servant of the tea stall owner. Now he is not free. Now he cannot go wherever he wants. Now he cannot do whatever he wants, and he is not free at all. He has to follow the instructions of the tea stall owner. That's why he feels a little bad. And this was the difference. The bag was his. He was a master of himself, but the canister belongs to the man who owns the tea shop. That's why Sahib is no longer his own master. अब वो अपना मालिक नहीं रहा बल्कि दूसरे लोगों का गुलाम बन चुका है, and that's why he feels very sad now. So with this line, the first part of this chapter ends, and only 5 minutes are remaining. In this time we can have a little शॉर्ट रीकैप ऑफ दिस चैप्टर. तो सबसे पहले एक बार मैं बता देता हूँ कि इस चैप्टर के अंदर हम बात किसकी कर रहे थे. एक बच्चे की जिसके पास ना घर है ना बार है, ठीक है, और साहब आपका ना खाने को उसको खाना नसीब हो पाता है, और ना ही उनके पास अपना कोई घर है. और इस बच्चे का नाम है साहिब आलम. इसके नाम के मीनिंग इसकी ज़िंदगी के बिल्कुल उलट हैं, बिल्कुल उल्टे हैं. अक्सर कहते हैं कि इंसान के नाम के असरात जो हैं उसकी ज़िंदगी पर ज़रूर पड़ते हैं, लेकिन साहिब आलम के साथ ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं हो पाया. साहिब आलम क्या है? साहिब आलम का मतलब ये है कि पूरी यूनिवर्स का मालिक, यानी एक तरह का राजा, ठीक है, जो कि लैविश लाइफ गुजार सकता है, दूसरों को पर हुक्म चला सकता है, लेकिन उसकी लाइफ इस तरह की बिल्कुल भी नहीं है. वो एक रैग पिकर है, मजबूर है, उसे रैग पिकिंग करनी पड़ती है. अब रीज़न क्या था जो ये लोग यहाँ पर रैग पिकिंग कर रहे हैं? रीज़न ये था कि पहले ये ढाका में रहा करते थे, जहाँ पर इनके एक अपने खेत खलियान थे, घर बार था, ठीक है, लेकिन अचानक से वहाँ पर कुछ डिज़ास्टर आया, तूफ़ान वगैरह आए, जिनसे इनकी फील्ड्स, इनके खेत खलियान, इनके घर सब बर्बाद हो गए, और मजबूरन इनको वहाँ से भाग कर यहाँ आकर बसना पड़ा. अब जाहिर सी बात है कि जब दूसरे जगह से लोग यहाँ पर आकर बसेंगे तो उनके पास ना घर होगा, ना खाने के लिए न सर छिपाने के लिए छत होगी, और ना ही खाने के लिए 2 वक्त की रोटी होगी. तो मजबूरन उनको यहाँ पर रहना पड़ता है. अब रीज़न क्या है कि वो ऐसी गंदी जगह में ही क्यों बसे आकर, गंदी जगह में ही इसलिए बसे क्योंकि उन्हें यहाँ से कोई भगाने वाला नहीं है। अगर किसी अच्छे शहर में जाएंगे तो उन्हें इस तरह का कोई काम करने को मिलेगा ही नहीं, और उनको जो है अपने सर छिपाने के लिए या अपना ठिकाना बनाने के लिए कोई जगह नहीं मिल पाएगी। अगर कहीं पे वो अपने टेंट्स वगैरह लगाना चाहेंगे तो जो लोग हैं वहाँ के या जो सरकार है वो उन्हें इस तरह की परमिशन नहीं देगी। तो सीमापुरी एक बिल्कुल डर्टी सी प्लेस है जहाँ पर कूड़ा करकट के ढेर लगे रहते हैं, वहाँ पर कोई आने जाने वाला नहीं होता, कोई देखने वाला कोई नहीं है वहाँ पर, तो ये वहाँ पर आकर बस जाते हैं। ठीक है। अब यहाँ पर एक चीज़ और ये आई थी कि ये अपने दोस्तों के साथ आराम से इंजॉय करते फिरते हैं, चप्पल पहनते ही नहीं हैं, जिनके पास हैं वो भी नहीं पहनते और जिनके पास नहीं है वो तो पहन ही नहीं सकते। अब एक दिन राइटर ने ऐसी मजाक मजाक में उससे कह दिया था कि भाई ये सब छोड़ के तुम स्कूल जाना शुरू कर दो। तो हमारे साहिब आलम ने कहा था कि मैं तो बहुत चाहता हूँ कि मुझे स्कूल जाने का मौका मिले, मगर हमारे गाँव के अंदर कोई स्कूल है ही नहीं। तो ऐसे ही उसने मजाक मजाक में कह दिया कि चलो मैं तुम्हारे लिए स्कूल बनाऊँगी, फिर तो क्या तुम आओगे। तो वो खुश हो जाता है और एक्सेप्ट कर लेता है कि हाँ मैं ज़रूर आऊँगा, लेकिन सालों गुजर जाते हैं और वो उसका सपना पूरा नहीं हो पाता। मजबूर होकर बड़े होकर उसको एक चाय के होटल पर काम करना पड़ता है और दूसरों का ग़ुलाम बनना पड़ता है। उसका जो सपना था एजुकेशन हासिल करने का, वो सपना सपना ही रह जाता है। ठीक है। अब चाय के होटल पे जब वो काम करता है तो वो और भी ज़्यादा उदास उदास रहने लगता है, बहुत ज़्यादा डिप्रेशन में चला जाता है, क्योंकि अब वो अपना ख़ुद का मालिक भी नहीं रहा था। जब बचपन में वो कूड़े के ढेर में सामान बीनता फिरता था तो कम से कम वो अपना आज़ाद था, जब चाहता था जो कर लेता था, जहाँ चाहता था वहाँ चला जाता था। लेकिन अब वो ग़ुलाम बन चुका है और उसके पास करने के लिए कुछ भी नहीं बचा है। ठीक है। इस तरह का ये चैप्टर है। अब ये इस चैप्टर में रिप्रेजेंट किया गया है कि आज के दौर में भी हमारे इंडिया के अंदर किस कदर गरीबी छाई हुई है और कितने लोग लाचार व मजबूर हैं, एंड जिनके पास न सर छिपाने के लिए छत है और ना ही 2 वक्त की रोटी। तो उसी को रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे थे इसमें। क्लास का टाइम भी पूरा हो चुका है और ये चैप्टर भी ओवर हो चुका है, तो अब मैं इस क्लास को ओवर कर रहा हूँ। टिल देन स्टे सेफ, and whenever my period is there must join and tell your other friends also to join the class, because ऑनलाइन क्लास में जो मैं पढ़ा दूंगा उसको दोबारा मैं आपको क्लास में नहीं पढ़ाऊंगा। तो हर हाल में आपको क्लास ज्वाइन करनी ही करनी है, एंड और लोगों से भी आप कहिए कि वो लोग क्लास ज्वाइन करेंगे। ओके। 12th क्लास वालों ने इस साल जो गलती की है वो आप लोग मत कीजिएगा। उन लोगों ने क्लास अटेंड नहीं की और अब बहुत ज़्यादा पछता रहे हैं वो। जब क्लास मैंने ऑनलाइन पढ़ाया तब भी नहीं आए वो लोग, और जब ऑफलाइन स्कूल खुले तो उसमें भी ये हफ्ते में 1-2 बार आया करते थे, तो उनका कोर्स बिल्कुल ब्लैंक पड़े हैं उनके माइंड्स। आप लोगों को मैं पर्सनली सजेशन दूंगा कि आप लोग ये गलती बिल्कुल भी ना दोहराएं। ठीक है। ऑनलाइन क्लास हो रही है तो इसको प्रॉपरली यूटिलाइज़ करें और ज़रूर आएँ। चलिए, गुड बाय, अल्लाह हाफ़िज़ एंड अस्सलामु अलैकुम।